Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming here today. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to Zahira from NVIDIA for an awesome presentation. I don't see where she is, but thank you for that. I hope I'm audible. Second of all, I would like to start this session with a few questions before I actually, dive into what I do and what I want to present to you guys today. I'm gonna ask the questions in both in English and in Arabic, just for the sake of making sure that everyone gets it. My question is: has anyone used AI today? Can you raise your hand? All of us. Everyone did. Okay, amazing. I just used AI 5 minutes ago. I took a picture of the pastry and I'm like, how many calories is in this pastry? Because I'm watching my calories, but I needed some sugar because I'm kind of nervous. That's awesome. Okay, my second question is, how many of you folks are developers or used to be software developers? Okay, amazing. And how many of you are decision makers for developers and are looking to adopt AI for your developers? Wow, that's a big number. Amazing. You're in the right place, and I'm glad to have you guys here. I think what I'm going to be presenting to you guys today is a perfect situation for someone that is adopting AI in their organization and wants to improve the productivity and the life overall of their developers. But before I get started into this, I just have one more question. How many of you guys know what is the next step that you want to take to actually adopt AI into your organization? Okay, so we have much fewer hands over here. And I'm happy to see that because I think this actually adds on to the purpose of today's presentation. And it adds on to the purpose of all of us coming here today, which is, we all know that there is AI and we all know that we want to adopt it, but people are struggling with finding the next steps. I can't give you the answer to everything, but I can give you the answer to how you want to improve your developer's life. So let's get started. My name is Ibrahim Imran. I'm a solutions engineer here at JetBrains. We're establishing our presence in the UAE. And today we'll be talking about governing the agents your infrastructure runs. How to develop teams, maintain control as AI autonomy increases. So, this is also my contact information. I'll be presenting it in the end as well. But for any of you guys that want to reach out to me, please feel free to do so. So, the approach we're taking over here is individual developers using AI. We're trying to transition that into organizations using AI across the software development lifecycle, or as many of you know it as the SDLC, right? Now, most companies these days, they're taking three approaches, right? The shift is causing new challenges for them. What are the challenges? Productivity gains don't reach the organization yet. There's no shared prompts, there's context issues, and also the standards have not reached the organization yet. I'm working with customers nowadays. Sometimes they're telling me, I have this developer, he's using GPT. I have this developer, he's using this. I have this developer, he's using that. Nothing is standardized, and that's kind of an issue. Second is, the more agents, the harder it gets to manage. So again, I have these customers coming up to me with multiple developers using multiple agents, and it's kind of troublesome, especially in a region like the Middle East, where security is important, that you have your engineers, their data is going to different servers and they're prompting different providers because they don't have a standard access to AI. And whether you like it or not, I hate to break it to you, your engineer is using AI. If it's not on the laptop, he's going to take his phone and he's going to take a picture and he's going to use AI to solve the issue that you guys want to solve. So you might as well secure yourself and give them what they need, right? As AI use grows and you use multiple AI vendors, so does the costs, risk, and complexity. And third of all, as output goes up, bottlenecks do too. So more agents, doesn't mean faster delivery. It means more reviews, more bugs, and more bottlenecks. And this is very obvious because, again, if you guys are mostly software developers, which I understand that you are, you know that there's not one project that one developer is working on. There's shared projects. And these shared projects, you can't have different agents and different people using them, contributing to it, because that causes a mess, right? And when you have this mess, Are you really saving costs and are you really working better when you're adopting AI, or are you just harming yourself? Well, the answer comes in our solutions. So, how are organizations approaching these challenges today? Well, a lot of you guys are using multiple tools to govern AI. You're locking into one AI vendor, and you're building in-house tools. And I'll give you 3 reasons why these 3 approaches are not the best. Oops. So, when you're using multiple tools to govern AI, it's hard to standardize. Like I mentioned before, you have multiple people using multiple tools. You can't standardize it, and you can't stop them from using the tools that they want. Another thing is locking into one AI vendor. It's a risky long-term bet. I think that we all have seen lately the fluctuation when it comes to prices changing on our AI vendors. Claude today does not cost how much Claude costed yesterday, and it's not going to cost how much it costs tomorrow. So when you guys are locking into one AI vendor, and your developer today is making 20 software prompts, tomorrow maybe he's only going to be able to make 5. And they have all the right to do that because you're using their LLM, and this is the cost that they're going to go to. And then also building in-house tools. It's not the core focus. I've spoken to a lot of people that have a lot of ambition, and I'm sure maybe some of you are a part of these people that have a strong ambition. I want to make an AI agent. I want to build an LLM model. I want to do this. I want to do that. And it's like, there's a reason why the premium players are the only ones out there that are doing this, because it's not that simple. So instead of having to focus on doing what the big players are doing, you might as well leverage the big players and actually use them into one consolidated platform. So the standard that every team needs, how are you going to do that platform? How are you going to consolidate everything? Well, a few approaches that you can take actually are centralized AI across your organization. So a single connected system to manage AI tools and agents across teams. Also, new tools where AI developers already work. So try new tools and agents inside the workflows and IDEs your team already uses. So instead of having to lock in multiple vendors, you can actually have one single tool that's bringing in those multiple vendors for you, so that your team is not restricted to one single tool. Because we all know how it is to be a software developer, at least most of you, including myself. I had a specific set of tools that I like to use, and I don't want to change. I still know people that are coding in Vim right now, and they're not even using IDEs, right? And that's okay. Because engineers do amazing things, and we don't want to get in their way of delivering those amazing things. So instead, we want to give them the flexibility to be able to use whatever tools they want while doing these amazing things. And then also, you want to focus on fewer bottlenecks and faster delivery. So you want to make it easy to reach productivity faster by automating tasks across the software development lifecycle. Now, what is the main approach that we can take to reach all of these things in our organization? Well, I would like to introduce to you JetBrains AI, an open system for agentic software development. Now, JetBrains AI offers multiple things, and I'm going to be talking about a few of them today. So, one of those being the flexibility of being able to choose any agent. So instead of locking your developers into one thing and making them actually have to use one model or one agent, I'm giving you all the agents, and then you have the flexibility to choose for yourself. If I have QA developers that are used to using Gemini, but I have backend developers that want to use Claude, then under one license and under one vendor, I'm giving them all of that, right? And also, you can work from any interface. So again, we're going into every part of the software development lifecycle. That's not only IDEs and that's not only CLIs, but we're talking about the IDEs, we're talking about agentic development environments, CLI, and also web. And when I talk about web, if you guys are wondering whether that's GitHub Actions or GitLab or version control systems, you're absolutely right. So we're not only in the IDEs, but we're also a part of all of these software development lifecycle. And so, what are the elements that fall under basically being able to provide all of these things to your software developers? Well, that's simple. It's governance, it's agent execution, and it's team coordination. All of these 3 elements are what you will need to be able to get that governance secured for your AI development, for your software development teams. Now, how does governance bring value to your teams? Well, first things first, the best agents everywhere you work. So let's say that you guys logged into a platform like JetBrains AI, and we were only offering you guys, the agents that I just showed you. But there is a new player that just rose up from the horizon, and basically he's getting all the market's attention. Well, we make sure to also get your developers access to those agents as well. So they're not only limited to the ones that they were secured on when you had first signed, but also you will get access to the premium ones based on the market. Another thing is that you stay in control as your AI usage grows. So when we talk cost saving, how are we saving costs when we don't know how much is being consumed by our developers? Are we just freestyling it? Are we just buying as many licenses and credits that we can and then saying, hopefully we don't run out, or if I do run out, I'll just ask my developer to buy another license? No. Instead, we have analytics that give you how much credits your developers are consuming, and then we can control what they have access to. So I have this Java team, and I know that every month they're consuming like X amount of credits, then I'll give that to them. And then I have this QA team that doesn't consume as much credit. So now I know when I'm going to ask my procurement for budget or whatever, I can actually have a strict figure of how much they need, which is very important because the way we're approaching AI nowadays, I know that it's very vague and it's very out there in the open for everyone to just spend as much as they can and they're not getting returns. So this is a very good way of being able to control it. And also shipping faster with agents that know your code base. Of course, this is something that everyone is appreciating, appreciating the value that AI is bringing to it, which is your context being built into every agent, right? This is the beauty of having an agent integrated not only into your IDE, but into your GitHub, into your repositories, right? So that instead of having to copy and paste or understand, basically give it the context, it already has everything integrated into it because it's familiar with your project. So this is just a glimpse of what our console looks like. I kind of like to show this because, it's the JetBrains central console where you will be having access as an admin to, the organizations, hub, AI governance, billing, licensing, users and access. And from there, you will have all the access control of what your teams are consuming, how you want to give them their AI credits, how you want to go on about it. So, why is multi-agent the right approach? Why am I not just locking into one vendor and calling it a day? I have 90% of my developers like Claude. I'll just get a bunch of Claude licenses. No problem, right? I don't think so. The reason behind that is that you need to stay current with the market. New models and agents are shipping constantly, so you can test out new ones without vendors locking in. Again, let's say that today Claude is top for backend development, but tomorrow it's going to be Gemini. Are you really going to fall behind your competitors that have developers using all types of models because you locked into one vendor? Or would you rather have access to all the vendors and then make sure your developers are delivering what you want, right? Control costs are better. So if a provider raises costs, you can easily switch to another. Let's say that your backend team is using Claude, but your front-end team is making just very simple prompts. Do you really want them to be going to Claude to ask questions like, what should I call this commit message? I mean, I can do that with Gemini, right? I can do that with Google. I could just copy and paste that. So why do I want to have one single high-cost vendor making all my tasks, the small and the big ones, when I can be switching between agents for small tasks for the small agents and big tasks for the big agents? And then last but not least, using the right agent for the task. Combining multiple agents produces better results since they are better at different tasks. Again, I don't want to sound like a broken record, so I think that I've already clarified this, but I'll say it one more time, is that having access to different agents will really unleash the power of your developers and the power of the AI models that they are using. You don't want to limit them, you want to give them access to everything, because that's what it's going to look like anyways. And this is a future-proof solution for your developers. So, as mentioned earlier, we're not only limited to IDEs, right? I know that many of you developers might know JetBrains as an IDE provider, right? But our tools are not only limited to IDEs. What we're doing is that we're taking the approach of a developer experience like we always have the past 25 years. And we want to make sure that we're not restricting our tools to only be stuck into one place. Instead, we're giving you access to also the CLI and JetBrains Air, an agentic development environment, where basically you can also be using multiple agents to run multiple coding tasks across every single part of your software development lifecycle. You also get granular access to user management. So when it comes to authenticating yourself, it's as simple as a JetBrains account or any of your identity providers. So that's something that I like to mention. It's not crucial, but I think for any of you guys that want to adopt such a solution, I do like to mention that, when you have an identity provider and when it comes to authentication, it's as simple as, just integrating into whichever IDP you have. So you can integrate with your existing corporate SSO provider, or you can use IDPs like Okta and Azure AD for secure access control. And you can automate provisioning via SCIM to synchronize seats as employees join. So whenever you have a new developer onboarding, it's not going to be very difficult for you to assign them a seat. It's going to be as simple as just logging into that central console that I just showed you guys and then being able to assign them a new seat. Centralized management. So, this is also a point that I like to talk about regarding JetBrains Central, is that if you want to lock in with our platform, but you want to bring your own keys, you want to bring your own vendors from outside, you also have the option of doing that. Again, we want to make sure that it's more of a developer experience rather than getting you to log in with us. With 16 million users with JetBrains, we understand how the market is going because we see how software developers are working. So we're not trying to work against them. We're not trying to corner them into a specific solution. Instead, we're trying to present what they're asking for. And so with that being said, if you want to bring your own key, you can do that, and you can also centralize it. So you get to secure bring your own key for AI providers and agents across your organization. Let's say that you have your own provider like OpenAI, OpenAI Compatible, Anthropic, Olama, LLM Studio. You can connect your keys into your IDEs through the JetBrains Central Console, and then you'll be able to, just use that platform. Am I running out of time? Yeah? Okay. While I'm very happy presenting to you guys, I'm going to have to kind of rush it, but I hope you guys are enjoying this presentation as much as I am. I genuinely like talking about this solution because I used to be a software developer myself. And I think that these tools are amazing, not because I work at JetBrains, but because genuinely it really is very cool what we're doing here at JetBrains. You have also an ACP registry with a lot of agents that you'll have access to. You get to manage which models your teams are using. So if there is a specific model that you want your team to have access to, then you will be able to connect it to that endpoint through the central console. And you'll also be able to centralize your MCPs. So you get to pick basically which MCPs your developers have access to and which MCPs they don't. And last but not least, from cost control to impact, you will get to cost control the AI spend. So you get to pick how many tokens they have and how many credits, AI credits, basically each team gets. So when you're buying like 300 credits from us, it doesn't mean that you have to assign 300 credits to like one team. You can give this guy 5 credits, you can give that guy 10 credits, and so on and so forth. And also you get to measure and, track full visibility on your AI spend, analytics tools built for engineering teams. This is what your dashboards will look like, right? So I get to see, okay, Alexander, he's consuming 870 cloud credits, 510 codecs, 108 AI assistant. So you'll have access to exactly how much credits each user is consuming. And this gives you good visibility on what you want to do next, what you want to buy from next, and so on and so forth. Get to know exactly how much of your code came from AI. So even if this developer is generating a lot of code using AI, how much of this code is actually being accepted and being put into their project? Are they just generating a bunch of code, but they're not using it? Then we need to start asking questions, right? So these are very important analytics that every organization eventually will have access to. And you also get deep context for agents. So another thing that will be, available is that you can add a semantic layer that gives agents additional context from your repositories and projects. With enhanced context before they start, agents produce more accurate code. So this is also something else that will be added from our side, which is basically adding more context to your prompts, giving the agent basically, let's say, a clearer picture of what you're asking for, which ultimately will actually make the prompt cheaper for you. Your code and data stays protected. So we are encrypted in Transit and Rust, SOC type 2, GDPR compliant, and encrypted. A lot of good security stuff. And we're the only platform that works with every agent, every tool, and every team. We are yet to find someone in the industry or competition that basically is able to provide all of these solutions yet. Thank you guys so much. My name is Ibrahim Imran. I'm a solutions engineer here at JetBrains. I hope you enjoyed my presentation as much as I enjoyed giving it to you.